What is up? If you're interested in breaking into cybersecurity, but you're confused about which certifications to get, we're actually going to create a tier list of the top 10 cybersecurity certifications and then rank them based on two things. The first metric we're using to rank these certifications is the average salary for jobs asking for those specific certifications. So for example, a job pays $100K for instance and mentions that it wants you to have Security Plus. That's kind of taken into consideration. And the second metric we're using is how often these individual certifications appear in different jobs on Indeed. So for example, if we search CompTIA Security Plus, it will probably yield more results than CompTIA Pentest Plus, for instance. So CompTIA Security Plus would rank higher than Pentest Plus in this instance. And even though my cybersecurity course is super good and gets a lot of people results and hands-on and has a great community, I'm not going to include it in the ranking today because today's ranking is more so for like those kind of mainstream cybersecurity certifications. However, I will be doing another $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. So if you want a chance to enter that, all you have to do is like, subscribe, and make a comment down below with the word cyber in it. I'll also be giving away a couple practice question decks for both CompTIA Security Plus and CISSP. So go ahead and check those out in the description. Absolutely free. You just need Anki to use them, but that is free as well. Certifications do serve as one of the 12 pillars of employment. That is, they're one of the things that you need to consider when trying to break into a field or get promoted if you're already working. But they do cost a decent amount in terms of time and energy, so it's kind of important to do some thinking before you dive in and start spending a bunch of time and money on something. And lastly, I just want to mention this. There are more metrics than the ones that we chose for our ranking list. Like for example, we chose average salary and then how much any given certification appears on Indeed. But there are more things to consider. I just kind of chose those two metrics to make this video easy. A really good example of a certification that kind of falls outside of these two metrics is Google Cybersecurity Professional Certification. This cert is actually quite good and it helps you elevate multiple pillars of employment, if that makes sense, or multiple stats, but it just doesn't like fall in very well on the two metrics we chose for this video. So just kind of keep that in mind as you watch. After we go through and kind of do our analysis and build our tier list, I'm going to talk about the certifications that I had at the time when I broke into cybersecurity, and I'm going to talk about how you should think when you go to actually pick a certification to study for and ultimately get. So getting right into the numbers, here's actually the top 13 certifications for average salary and then the top 13 for frequency of appearance. I was going to do 10, but I just added 3 more certs here. If you're wondering how I calculated this average salary, I just used the information from Indeed and I was lazy and I used ChatGPT to do the math for me. And then as far as the frequency of appearance, I would just search the cert on Indeed and then however many jobs came back in the US, that was the number that I used here. And there's a copy of this in the description in the top comment, so go ahead and use that and you can kind of filter these as much as you want. So for example, if I want to order this by certifications with most appearances in Indeed, I would just order sort by Z to A for here. So you can see like CISSP has the absolute most hits on Indeed, and then OSCP, at least from our list, has the least. Likewise, you can order the salary. Highest salary, for example, is OSCP at the time that I did my research. Lowest was CCNA, which is interesting, but yeah, feel free to follow along with this and sort this however you want. So when you're trying to decide like which certs to get, a boneheaded approach, this might be like, let me just like sort this by the highest paying one and get the cert at the top. Or, you know, sort this by the cert that appears in the most job descriptions and then just get this one. You could try to do that, and, you know, getting OSCP or CISSP or Associate of ISC Squared as a new person is not necessarily going to hurt you, but there's more economic ways to do it, and there's like a bit more nuance than just like picking the one at the top of the list, if that makes sense. So for example, if we arrange the salary by the highest salary first, you'll see OSCP is at the top of the list. But OSCP it's a really niche like red team / offensive security certification. It does have the highest salary, but it also probably the most difficult certification in this list. I've studied for it a bit and it's pretty difficult. It also has like the lowest frequency of certifications from, you know, at least the certifications on our list. So maybe it's not necessarily the best option for somebody who's brand new. Same thing, if you sort the order of frequency of appearance, you'll notice that CISSP is at the top. But as a brand new person, like technically you can't even obtain CISSP. You can take it and pass the exam and they'll give you what's called Associate of ISC Squared that you can have until you meet the experience requirement of 4 or 5 years, depending if you have other certifications. But it might not be the best certification to get as somebody who's new, right? I will say as a new person, it is smart to pick from the frequency of appearance, that is certifications that the most people know about. And if you kind of eyeball the top 5 certifications here, the most manageable one, in my opinion, I have CISSP, CCNA, and Security Plus. And I know CISA and CISSP are not exactly like entry level. The most manageable one out of all of these that has like, you know, a respectable average salary and then a decent amount of appearances just so happens to be CompTIA Security Plus. And that kind of makes sense because, you know, a lot of people who end up working in security, most of those people end up getting Security Plus as like their first or second cert. And it makes sense because it's economical, it's manageable for a new person, and it's really well known. But I will say obtaining CISSP or Associate of ISC Squared is a really smart move if you're serious about working in like corporate cybersecurity. It's essentially the GOAT cert. Everyone knows what it is. It has so many hits on different job boards. I would just recommend definitely getting that if you're, you know, serious about working in cybersecurity. I wouldn't do it as your first cert, but I would definitely get it eventually. Also, I'll put a couple links below in the description for free practice questions for both CompTIA Security Plus and CISSP. So definitely check those out, absolutely free. And if you're serious, look at the tab down below for sheet 2. And I kind of just organize these so you can kind of see like the top 5 for average salary and then the top 5 for frequency. You can kind of eyeball these and then see if there's like any overlap between them. And we see like CISSP exists on both sides, CISM exists in both sides. CompTIA Security Plus almost exists over here, but the salary was like not quite enough to make it into the top 5. So I thought that's just kind of neat. It's just something to kind of look at before we get into the actual tier list next. And then here is our resulting tier list. Basically, to make this, I dumped the top 13 average salary and top 13 frequency of appearance into ChatGPT, and I was like, make me a tier list, S tier through F tier, and this is basically what it came up with. And I think this actually makes a lot of sense, and I agree with it for the most part. Since we got to this point, I'm going to shield my course a little bit. So my course, in conjunction with the Google Cybersecurity certification, is really strong for theory, and then my course is really strong for applicability and like hands-on and experience generating stuff as well. It's just a really good combo, and you can definitely get a job with it if you apply it correctly. Not to mention, if you go through the Google Cybersecurity course, they'll give you a 30% off voucher for getting Security Plus as well. And then everything that's in the Google Cybersecurity course translates pretty much directly to the CompTIA Security Plus exam. So it's going to be easy-ish to get Security Plus after going through the Google Cybersecurity course. So definitely check those out. I'll put a link in the description to my course as well as the Google Cybersecurity course. Again, check out the free practice questions for CompTIA Security Plus as well as CISSP. Good luck on your exams, and we will see you in the next video.